It started with Poseidon. No one knows exactly what happened or how it happened. All anyone knows is that his underwater kingdom was decimated, and Poseidon went missing for some time. Poseidon never spoke of or admitted to what happened during that time. After that, the divine twins, Artemis and Apollo, decided to hunt down and kill a monstrous creature that had come from the ocean and was destroying everything in its wake. Their arrows meant nothing. The divine light and power that shot from their bows did not even penetrate its skin. They jumped, they dodged, they ducked, and they were very fast. However, they were not fast enough. With all of the effort that the two gods can muster, they were beaten, bloody, and left crippled in less than a minute. The other gods saw it coming at this point. They saw this monstrous creature that broke two gods and decimated another, making its way steadily towards Mount Olympus. With one step, it demolished cities. With one breath, it killed an army. And with one look, it struck fear into even the god of war. With fear and possible death making its way towards the gods, they fled. They all fled south across the Mediterranean Sea, all of them except Zeus and his daughter Athena. Thunderbolt in hand, standing tall and ready with the might of the king of the gods, Zeus stood. Golden spear in her grasp, a shield shining with the face of Medusa, and her golden helmet gleaming, Athena sought an advantage. They stared down Mount Olympus at the monstrous creature that the world itself spat out and sent after him. It was a colossal mix of a man, snake, dragon, and a lion. His large steps made his climb of Mount Olympus easy and quick. His eyes burned with fires as he peered up through the clouds towards Zeus and Athena. His breath was a stream of hot magma and fire. He spit on a temple of Zeus as he stepped towards the god. The temple melted and burned in seconds, killing dozens of innocent people. His rage and fire on his human head was almost dwarfed by his other heads. The two gods looked down at his human head on his shoulders, but around him were another 100 heads. There were dragon heads, breathing fire, acid, ice, and lightning. There were lion heads, roaring out in a frightening sound that sent even the bravest people into a state of fear, and they viciously chewed down on any living creature nearby, innocent or not. Worse were the serpent heads. They did not roar, they did not breathe fire, but they were fast. They were faster than the eye could see. They steadily let out a ringing hum. Any who heard it were petrified, and the serpents' heads could sense them. There was no hiding, running, or fighting. One moment, a family member was there, and the next part of the wall was missing, and they were gone. This creature's clawed hands were the size of a house, and dug into the mountain as it rose through the clouds. Zeus and Athena let loose. At least they tried. Athena was soon left broken and dismembered as her father lay barely breathing. It was a short fight. The valiant effort to save his mountain and his throne was short-lived. Zeus felt his bones crush and break with each stomp from this colossal creature. His white marble pillars crumbled as the mountain shook under his crushing blows. Blood sprayed as Zeus's body tried to heal but was kept squeezed out until there was nothing left. His daughter, eyes closed, laid unconscious or maybe dead, bent over backwards across the very steps that led to his throne. As Zeus lay there, this creature took an avatar itself. It looked at its arms, legs, and felt its hair before striding casually up the steps to Zeus's throne. It took a large step over Athena, looking down at her with disappointment as it did. Then it reached behind the throne and pulled out something that struck fear into Zeus. Zeus's body was crippled, empty, and torn. He could do nothing as this man approached with the golden scythe of Kronos. Zeus knew that the scythe could kill divine beings. That is why Zeus kept it close. You can never trust beings of power. They always want more. The man walked over to Zeus, smiling, and as Zeus helplessly laid in fear, the man cut Zeus's tendons meticulously. It took some time, but after a few hours Zeus's muscles, blood, and powers were useless. He lay there unable to move, speak, or properly breathe. The man threw the body of Athena from Mount Olympus, and then turned to the monsters of the world to imprison Zeus. During the decades that followed, mortals were needlessly slaughtered. Innocent families were victim to raids from monstrous creatures of the area. The man took a wife, had children, and stayed by himself at the peak of Mount Olympus. One night, while the wife of the man was watching over the imprisoned Zeus, the gods Pan and Hermes set to work. Using the sounds of Pan and the speed and quick wits of Hermes, the pair were able to steal back the tendons of Zeus and free him. This was half of the plan, but Zeus started healing immediately and started making his way up to Mount Olympus. The man felt a rebellion against him rising, and he sought the wisdom of the fates. He took the scythe and quickly flew away, hiding it somewhere on his way. He quickly went and spoke to the Moirai, who lied to him. They gave him poisoned fruit and told him that the newly invigorated Olympians would overtake him unless he ate the godly fruit. He traveled back, smiling down at Zeus, and ate the fruit. After a few seconds, his vision blurred and he stumbled a little. He was weakened. Zeus and the man re-engaged in a deadly and destructive battle. Zeus threw the man across the countryside off Mount Olympus. As Zeus flew down to him, the man was badly hurt. Bruised and broken, the man slowly climbed to his feet. Zeus proudly stood and started gathering his might with thunder and lightning. The air crackled and flashed as Zeus gathered his power, but the man spit out golden blood and smiled. Zeus was confused. Why was he smiling? And why was his blood golden? As Zeus regained his focus, the man released his avatar. He quickly rose towards the sky, and his size expanded. Zeus let loose thunder and lightning. The air broke with sound, light, and electricity, as Zeus unleashed more power than he ever had before. However, the creature stood. Zeus looked at his foot now. Zeus barely came to its ankle. Zeus swallowed his proud moment as the other foot came. He doesn't know how hard he was hit, or how far he went. Zeus just knew that on impact bones broke and the world around him was a blur. Zeus laid and watched the fire in the creature's eyes as it ran towards him. The ground shook, dozens of sounds hissed from its head, and trees caught fire as it breathed fire with each roar. Zeus saw an odd sight slowly lower itself in front of him as he lay on the ground. The form was of half a man. It had a blue outline and a see-through body. There were white bright dots connecting the blue outlines over its upper half. His head was topped with curling ram horns, and his waist and beyond was a swirling of ever-moving stars. The figure held up a hand as if he had a question. The colossal creature stops running, laughs slightly, and slowly saunters up before leaning down. The celestial form began to speak.
My name is Creus, and I serve the Olympians. Like you, my kin and I fought the Olympians, but we lost, and the world lives on. However, unlike you, the world is not moving on. Death, disease, and blood runs rampant across the world because of you. I would ask that you turn from this quest of yours and go home. You are strong and powerful. You have won. Now please take your victory so the world can live on.
The creature stopped smiling. Its amusement was fading. He glares down at the celestial form before giving his answer. He takes a deep breath, sucking in the air around him, moving trees and leaves as he does. Zeus grimaces, and the creature breathes out a stream of fire towards the pair. However, the stream stops. It fizzles out, dissipates into black smoke, and then the black smoke stands still in the air before disappearing. The celestial form speaks again.
I don't come here often, but I feel like most forget what I do every day. It is my responsibility to observe the vastness and expanse around you.
The form points towards the sky, and the colossal creature is having trouble breathing air back into its mouth after expanding all of it in the form of fire.
I am responsible for the vacuum of that vastness, the same vacuum where oxygen cannot exist, the same oxygen that is used for fire, melting, refining, and crafting armor and weapons, and it is used for the ability to breathe. Fortunately for me, I do not have that need, but I believe your form does. I was displeased with your ability to rule. You set fire to the innocent. Their homes, lives, past and futures were set aflame by you. Do you know what a star is? Do you know who makes the constellations that the Olympians want to put up of their heroes? That is me. That is my responsibility. That is my power.
Crius holds up both of his hands, and from around the colossal creature a white light shines. Zeus turns and starts to burn as Crius creates a star around the creature. Fire, light, and heat begin to cook the creature at a heat over 80 times what his breath of fire did. Its skin starts melting, its nerves are burning, and its muscles sizzle before Crius stops. The bright light disappears. The creature's roars are silent whispers as it stands there leaning over, sizzling, and its body charred. Crius continues.
I also should add that it is quite cold up there.
With a wave of his hand, the creature's legs drop to over 400 degrees colder than the temperature considered freezing. Crius slowly walks up and lightly punches one of the legs. It breaks and the other leg shatters under the weight of the creature. It falls hard on the ground, creating an earthquake. Crius looks up and looks as if he's looking for something. After a minute, he starts walking backwards and drags Zeus by his tunic. Then, a few miles away, Crius shouts,
We also have meteors!
Crius slams one of his fists into the other, and a giant rock over 450 square miles slams into the creature. Crius smiles to himself and takes a deep breath, and looks down at Zeus. Zeus is slightly burned, but healing and looks unamused. Crius stops smiling and speaks softly.
You have won a great victory today, my king.
He helps Zeus to his feet and then flies towards his domain. The sound of Astrius brings Crius back from his memory. Father, I thought you were going to join the Titans. They don't even know we want to help. Crius looks down at the world without taking a form. He sees his children's creations mingling with mortals, and he looks on with sadness at the place where Karist used to be. Then he slowly answers,
Son, power's not knowing when or how to fight. Power is knowing restraint, and when to use it. Our time has yet to come.